here today just to learn more about the classroom experience, really. So.
I'm Eleanor. I'm also a senior at Penn studying Spanish and sociology. And I'm thinking about applying to TFA, so I thought I'd just come and see what members are doing in the classroom.
Cool.
I'm Nick. I go to St. Joe's. I'm applying for TFA as well, so I just wanted to get a feel for it. And I also don't know anything about charter schools, so I was kind of in the same boat as her, trying to see what they're like.
I knew there'd be a connection.
I'm Lee. I'm a senior at Bryn Mawr, and I'm at the final interview stage for TFA, and I really want to teach in Philly, so that's what I came.
Awesome. Like enter, and we are at a 30, I keep messing these two numbers up, 33% graduation rate in 5 years, which doesn't sound great, but does anyone have any idea what the national average is, like, for everybody, regardless of income, of graduating from college in 5 years? 35%. College average graduation for students, minority students in low-income areas, 8% of graduating within 5 years. So, like, we're doing great things. We want to be at 75% as nationally our goal. We have a lot of work to do. So it's about figuring out those supports. But yeah, that's a great question. It's not like, oh, well, you're no longer KiPP, we're going to turn out, you're not on the college path, right? Yeah.
In what ways have you been able to engage the students' families?
And you're very involved with yourself and figuring out how you fit into this world, and so really taking that time to help our students learn, and our core values, which, you know, like our respect and integrity and grit and honest, which is like desire to achieve, and really highlighting that stuff. And so again, like making an environment where it's like everywhere they turn, even if it's in your classroom, like they're being reminded of, or being supported, or being held up as great examples. So you can, if you are touring around later and you want to like read these a little closer, feel free. But this is just again another example of what it looks like at a school-wide level. So in 5th grade, when you guys are visiting classes, the students have, you know, math, we have reading, writing, and then they have the class called nonfiction, which is the room where we were just in, which is just science and social studies combined. So in case you're like, what is nonfiction? They just do like alternating units, and then they focus on nonfiction literacy skills. So that's an idea of like, when we talk about catching our students up, it doesn't mean that we're just drilling math and reading all the time. We found like a creative way to be supporting literacy in another subject area. So you'll see that. Our students also have a longer school day. That's a common KiPP thing. It looks different depending on where you are, but at this school, for example, our kids were here by 7:30. They do breakfast from 7:30 to 8 and morning meeting and get their homework. So, excuse us. So as I mentioned, this is middle school. We are 5th through 8th, so this is mainly our 5th grade wing. If you actually look on the walls behind you, you can see what the classes are in each of the rooms. But you'll also notice that there's college pennants hanging below. So when you talk about what college prep means, it's a lot, especially at this level, of making our students really aware of colleges. So the homerooms are named after where the teachers went to college. If you were when you're peeking in the classrooms and you're sitting there, look around on the walls, I'm pretty sure you're going to find the copy of a college diploma, pictures of that teacher at their graduation, and other paraphernalia, just making it really real to our students of what this is, and making that connection for them, and also like being personal as a teacher. It's one of like being real with your students and letting them get to know you. Hey, they love it, and it just really helps them build them. Like, you're free to go in any classroom. For those of you who are really interested to see a Teach for America alums classroom, although I will say like phenomenal teaching is phenomenal teaching, and so you're going to be able to get to see that in any of our rooms. But if you're really interested in seeing what that looks like, 8th grade Miss McNulty right behind us here, if she has a period right now, she is a 4th year teacher, so she did her 2 years in Teach for America, stayed another year at her placement school, and then joined us here. The 7th grade English teacher, if you head back down that way, and the 8th grade English teacher are both Teach for America alum. Miss Hayes, no problem. Miss Hayes has been with us in 7th grade English for the last 4 years, and she started Teach for America when I did, so she's been teaching for this is now her 8th year. And then you'll see Miss Field is in her 3rd year of teaching, so she did her 2 years in her placement school and then joined us here. I mentioned Heather's, so the room that we were in upstairs, Heather's in New York, 2005 core member, $5 average, they get to go automatically. And so it eliminates that, like, you didn't earn it because you had a bad day yesterday, and I'm as a teacher remembering the bad day I had with you yesterday, and so now you're not going on the trip tomorrow, versus like over time you're doing good, you're doing well, like you may have had a rough day, right? And that kind of changes that conversation. And as a student, like I know very concretely what I need to do to be considered doing well, and I can see that. Like I had a bad week, I got a low paycheck, my average just went down, I might not earn the trip if I don't have a good week this week. And I can now directly see when you're 10 years old, like making those connections is a lot easier to understand than like just I should be good, right? And so if you looked in the hallway, you can see on any grade bulletin board the average, like the whole class and what their average is, and celebrating top earners, and they earn rewards, like getting to, you saw kids wearing jeans. Comments around what you saw? Well, I hope that it was really helpful for both groups to be able to just pick up on those things. I think so often when you talk about urban education, there's so much focus on what isn't working, and it's mind-blowing because it doesn't take much to, I think, have a system work at a micro level. I mean, when we talk about changing on a macro level, that's a very different conversation. KiPP is not trying to take over the school district of Philadelphia, and we don't think that's not what we're in the business of doing, but it's very easily possible to do great things for kids regardless of their backgrounds. So thanks so much for coming. If your folder has my contact information, if there's ever anything like you get accepted Teach for America, you're teaching elementary school now, you want to observe at our elementary school, absolutely just let me know. You are in the Philadelphia Center and now you're deciding to move back to Philly a year later and whatever, feel free to always reach out. I'm happy to be a resource in whatever way that I can.